pro. Um, so what I wanted to talk about tonight were some updates. I think if you've been paying attention to the reports from MDE and MDH, you'll see that our case counts are slowly and deliberately going a bit down, which is fantastic. And we're also, the number of folks being vaccinated is rising, but not as fast as we would wish. So one of the most exciting things I've heard in the last couple of days is that the vaccines are probably going to open up to 12-year-olds and up, which is incredibly exciting.
It is.
Yes. So the ways that these changing CDC and MDH guidelines are affecting us at Great River School for the students who are learning in person is that, one, we are actually not following the lead of a lot of communities, and we are still asking our teachers and employees and students to keep their masks on outside. And that to us is just a layer of safety that feels comforting. And also it allows us to mix, we're doubling up the cohorts of elementary students since they've been back, we've been keeping them in 12 different groupings for recess, which Rosa, our nurse, has been telling us is an abundance of caution. And she has a kind of a smile when she says that. But now, after consulting with her from this latest research about how the transmission outdoors is almost non-existent, she has said, especially if you're keeping masks on, you can double up your cohorts. So now we'll be only taking up 6 spaces on the campus, which allows us to welcome back our 7-8 students and give them some spots on campus so they can be outdoors as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a great way to be together as a community and to welcome back more of our students so they can end the year together in person for those who feel safe and able to do that. We have about 90, so maybe I think that's 70%. I'm not doing the math accurately, but a good proportion of our grade 7 and 8 students are coming back for in-person learning on May 17th. And so that is a change in model, which means that Minnesota Department of Education has offered us 5 planning days if you have a change in model. So elementary program will run as usual, and grades 9 through 12 will run as usual. And grades 7-8 will have an asynchronous learning day on Monday, May 10th. And Tuesday and Wednesday will be days off of school. And Thursday and Friday, there will be no.
I'm sorry, just for only 7-8.
Yes, only 7-8. And then Thursday and Friday will be MCA testing, and otherwise no school, no programming. And so was that 70%? So 90 out of the 130 or so 7-8 students. So if anyone wants to play with a calculator, I can't remember what the exact percentage was, but it's a significant number, and it's higher than than the number that was originally indicated on the survey way back when. So, and we suspected that because with all of the guides now vaccinated and with students, more and more kind of wanting to get out of the house and
69.
Oh, I was so close.
Yeah.
Yay.
Right.
Good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not surprising to us. And so we're excited about that. And Sam is going to be coming into town next Monday and Tuesday, yay, to help the 7-8 guides with their planning week. And then he'll be coming back into town, I think the week after, to spend some time with students doing in-person activities. And so I know he has regular times scheduled throughout the rest of the spring through graduation where he's coming into town and interacting mostly with students. He's on the prom planning committee, which is awesome. The students are going to hold a prom at I think the pavilion at Como.
Oh, nice.
Won't that be amazing?
Yeah.
And they're looking for chaperones. And I know Stacy Krieger is going to be a chaperone, and she is eagerly waiting for the declaration of the theme so that she can get an outfit for her new puppy, Hermione. So Hermione is going to be dressed up in whatever the theme is.
Nice. And that's May 30th, right?
You would maybe be better apprised of that than me. I'm not good at tracking the calendar. I live in the moment, Holly.
I see. That's the best place to be.
Yes. Every day is a new adventure.
Yes.
Yes. So for grades 7 and 8 families, it's interesting to know that the SRC will be open next week, but on a very limited basis. We're trying to limit numbers to the bare minimum of people who really just need to send their students to school because they are critical workers, or it's the best place for their students to be for their well-being. And we're going to have folks doing structured activities and mostly taking them off campus to do like walking day trips places, because the guides need to be on campus preparing their classrooms and preparing their spaces. And I know that if there are students on campus, they'll be drawn to wanting to go visit their teachers, and it will be maybe distracting from the planning.
Yeah.
Because they all miss each other.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
They're dying.
Welcome. Go ahead and send any questions into the chat or the Q&A if you have any questions about anything. It's an open forum tonight. We have no hot topic that we are focusing on. And so those were, I think, the primary updates. Some other exciting announcements that we have are that the spring intensives for grades 9 through 12 have all been announced and published out, and they are amazing. I have been lobbying Sam to become a secret shopper student and join all these intensives and be able to, secretly join in as a student, because the kind of things that are happening are incredible. From a full-on camping trip at Gooseberry Falls to like day biking excursions that are like all day biking excursions, some great hiking, art, performance, cooking, in-person cooking in our beautiful Great River kitchen. All sorts of amazing things are happening. And then we have about 3/4 of the offerings are in person and about 1/4 are virtual. So students do have choices.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that is also, I think it's going to, so think about it, Holly, as you put, because you care so much about the students, like they've been apart for so long, and to be able to end their year together.
Definitely. Very sweet.
Yeah, I am very excited about it.
Especially 9 through 12, because elementary have been able to see each other. And granted, there have been a few in-person times for the adolescents, but yeah, what a great way to end.
And I think it'll set them up. I've worried about students, not having connections over the summer. Yeah. And this will set them up to be able to, kind of reconnect with their friends, and also not be the ones who are able to reconnect, even if it's just for some of these outings, feel more confident coming back to school in the fall.
Yeah, it'll carry over.
I see a couple of questions that have popped up.
All righty. For spring intensives for 9 through 12, is that assigned, or do they get to choose their intensive experience?
It's a great question. The students choose, I think I've read the documents 100 times, but forgive me, but I think it's the top 3. So as a student, you choose your top 3, and then you get one of your top 3. You get assigned into one that you prefer. It's very rare or unlikely that you would ever get one that you don't want. And if you want in person, you wouldn't be put into a virtual, and vice versa. I just wanted to mention one of the other ones that I think is super fun. We have a new guide this year who works with 9th through 12th graders named Phil. And he's also on the side a carpenter slash, I think he had a little construction company at one point. And so he is hosting a in-person spring intensive where the students build boats out of heavy duty cardboard. And then they are going to sail them either in one of the lakes nearby or in a swimming pool. And often they sink, which is part of the fun.
Yes, yes.
But it sounds like a great opportunity for pictures and maybe filming, watching all the fun.
That does.
I offered to go out on my sup and paddle along to be like the lifeguard. If anyone needs
lifeguard photographer.
I'm not a good photographer. I'm a better lifeguard than I'm a photographer.
That does sound like fun, though.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah. Another question is just a clarification. Did you say there would be asynchronous work next Monday through 7/8, for 7/8, but no programming for the rest of the week for 7/8?
Correct. And it's also an asynchronous day for grades. Monday only is it grades 9 through 12 asynchronous day, but then Tuesday through Friday is normal virtual school for grades 9 through 12.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless they're coming to the SRC.
Which they still learn virtually, but they get to, and the grades 9 through 12 who are normally signed up to SRC are not limited at all. We're only trying to limit the numbers of 7/8s because we have to invent things for them to do. Yeah.
There's a question in the Q&A. I saw in an email, Katie says, that there was a request for some staff to unionize. Not sure if it's appropriate to ask about it, but wondering more about this. What is the process? How will it affect relationships among staff?
So it's true that there is a Minnesota charter school organization that supports teachers and staff at charter schools forming unions. And specifically, the staff at Great River School have teamed up with the staff at Hiawatha Academy to work on forming a union. And they sent a formal request to the board. And then there are formal steps then that happen as a result of that. And so the administration and the board, other than the board taking the steps needed to support moving any vote forward, the rest, anyone who's not part of a union movement or is in a position of like administration is neutral on this. I mean, I will say personally, as a teacher, I've worked at schools where I belonged to a union and others that I didn't belong to a union. And so I have no qualms either way, but it's best for the employees to feel that they're not being in any way encouraged or discouraged by anyone who has power. And so this is definitely something that the employees are doing, and it's not uncommon, and it's a perfectly reasonable and legitimate thing for them to be doing. And as far as relationships go, I mean, charter schools are so intimate that I find that the relationships are so much more intimate, and you can just walk into, anyone can just walk into my office, or when Sam was on site, walk into his office, or walk into your, level director's office. Whereas like in a large, like MPS or a giant district, you're never going to meet your superintendent. You're never going to, you're rarely going to be interacting with, the actual principal. You might be meeting with your vice principal or the level director. So I think the relationships are just by definition much more trusting and intimate than they are in a giant district. So, is there anything else that anyone's curious about?
This is not necessarily for this audience. I was going to talk to Sam during this time about Letterman's jackets, and our athletic director has designed a letter jacket for all of Twin Cities Academy, but our athletes, because we're in a sports consortium, our athletes could earn letters to put on a letter jacket. And so we're working on a letter jacket that is more specifically focused on Great River School. And then we will have academics, theater,
robotics,
ultimate frisbee, because ultimate frisbee is not part of the TCA consortium. So we'll have our own ultimate frisbee. And right now the designer at the place where we're working is designing a blue heron for the back. And I hope it looks beautiful.
That's exciting. I like that.
Yeah. So students have a choice now to buy a letter jacket that has a T on it for tigers. And it's blue with gold letters. And then their athletic awards, it's changing, ever changing. But the bars that represent each year that a student lettered in something are coming from the athletic director for athletes only at Great River. So our school would supply bars for each year for our academics, our ultimate frisbee letters, all of that. Yeah.
Great. So would that just be for high school, or is that?
I think letter jackets are just high school. But it's certainly something to look forward to if you're not in high school.
Exactly. And it's a way to keep the students in a weird time feeling connected and appreciated.
And warm.
So, well, there you go. And you can wear it when you go off to college or whatever you do next in your life.
Right. They showed me a letter jacket of a female student from White Bear Lake. There was no space on it. It was totally covered with bars, like 3 rows of bars down each arm. And it's, wow, she did some stuff.
That's pretty cool. That's exciting to hear, because as the parent of 5 children who were all athletic and played varsity sports, I felt as if my own personal children were pushed into specializing earlier than was, I thought, normal back when we were young. So anyway, which is something wonderful about Great River. You can do a lot of diverse things.
Try it all. Including boys volleyball, if you're male.
Well, there's girls. Is Lindsay Weaver coaching?
Lindsay is the coach of the boys volleyball team.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Yeah.
And I learned on the local news that she's pregnant. I had to tune in to WCCO to find out that our Lindsay is within 2 weeks of having a baby.
Oh gosh, I've been seeing her at these in-person upper adolescent community meetings, and she's every time it's a different, I'm like, oh, Lindsay, hello. I mean, not as exciting as Randy with her twins, but.
Right. And Taylor Perkins had a baby boy.
Yeah. trying to think what else is happening. A lot more administrators are coming back to work, and it's just such a wonderful feeling to be able to have, those of us who were there during the surge in early, when I don't even, it's all a blur, Holly. Time is a blur.
More
When
than
was
a year of a blur.
Was it February, March when things got bad again? I don't remember.
It's a blur on this side too.
Okay, so there was a period of time when we had more people on site, and then it went ghost town, and it was really kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's all coming to life again, and including, the garden is springing back to life, and the students are planting, getting the beds ready for planting, and it's just feeling like home.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. We're going to get it all like spruced up and happy and ready for David Nunes to start on the 1st of July. And so that will be exciting.
Yeah.
So good things happening.
It will be different. That's for sure.
Well, if anyone is thinking that change isn't good, they need to find a new world on which to live these days.
Right. I try to think of it as a fresh approach,
Fresh instead of just change. It's definitely not just change for change's sake.
No. But you know how if you're in a job for a long time and you just start to feel stagnant, so something new, a new challenge is refreshing.
Mm-hmm. So I know that some of the things that we're doing we have a new group of elementary students joining us. I think on May 17th is the next date where students opted in.
Or May 10th.
Is it May? You tell me, help me.
I think it's May 10th. When the elementary.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, May 10th.
Yes.
And that puts a couple of our classrooms almost 100% in person.
Wow.
Right, which is great for the teachers. The teachers are actually really happy about it because it means that they're not doing both virtual and in person.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a really nice thing happening. And the elementary, we can't really invite people to come do observations like we normally would want to, but I can tell you because I get paid to go observe children working and learning. It's absolutely gorgeous. I had tremendous fears that, had many meetings with Salaha and Tina, our social workers, about students coming back and being dysregulated and not knowing how to do school and behave safely, and just had many, many worries about this. And it is every day, it's an astonishing miracle to see just how happy the students are to be back together and just to get their hands on materials and to be taught by their teachers. It's shocking. It is more like, it looks more beautiful than it did ever, even before we shut down last March, because I think there's just a new appreciation in the children's hearts for how grateful they are to be learning in school with their friends.
That's great.
Yeah, because I had built this up in my mind as, they're going to come back and they're not going to know how to do school, and we're going to have to spend, days and weeks and months doing, social emotional learning and grace and courtesy, and it's been amazing. So let's all knock on wood and send out good vibes to our grade 7-8 students.
Yes, yeah. And kudos to every one of our teachers who's worked so hard. I know they have. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. Every week should be Teacher Appreciation Week, but really and truly, this year and into last year have been, I know, of a struggle for teachers, including ours. So kudos to them.
And I get to stay in touch with a fair number of schools in Minnesota and around the country, as does Sam. And a lot of districts and schools are having to lay people off because of students leaving the schools. And a lot of educators are feeling really unappreciated and burned out. And so the fact that our teachers, have been willing to step up and be there for the children is a real, just a real satisfying and quite a wonderful testament to them and their professionalism.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I've run out of updates and things to share. What do we do in a case like this, Holly?
Well,
Since
in a
I'm
case like this, we say last call for questions.
Mhm.
And if there's no questions, then we say thank you so much for coming over tonight to our virtual forum, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Right. This is Holly, aka Wendy's life jacket.
You did great. You did great.
Well, thank you. It was a little last minute.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, Julie and Katie, awesome. I'm so glad you came. Oh, there's a question. Ah!
A question. Thanks so much. That's not a question. That's a statement.
But I'll take it. I'll take it in.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll see you next. Wait, there's something else. Nope, same one. We will see you next week on Tuesday.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.